Hey, it's Caleb from Brownells here, and today I'm at the Big Springs Range, also known as the Brownells Range, and I'm out here LARPing in our trench system, and I figured this would kind of be a good time to talk about new drills for AR shooters, or like what drills a new shooter should be doing. This is like going to be super easy and super basic. There's a lot of good other training resources out there all over the internet, but the reason I wanted to make this video is because like too often you have like a guy that's new to AR15s or just new to guns in general, and he'll get online and see this complex drill, and before he has any fundamentals established whatsoever, he's trying to run like Jerry Miculek drills and stuff like that, which at that point is just kind of reinforcing bad habits because the fundamentals aren't good. So a really easy thing you can do to just kind of build and reinforce good fundamentals and see where your flaws are is just it's basically a modified version of the ragged hole drill. So ragged hole drill is a drill you shoot very slow at a very close target, but since we're using an AR-15, we're going to stretch that out to like a medium distance, medium close target, roughly like, I don't know, 25 feet. I didn't measure it, but about that distance. You can see that red target over there in the swamp section. We got a lot of rain recently, so the lower end of our trench system is a little flooded, but you can see that red target down there. That's a good distance. Obviously you don't need a trench system, you just need one target you can set up about that far from you. You can do this at an indoor range too. There's no movement involved, no reload drills involved. Get the fundamentals down before you start adding all of that stuff in, okay? All we're gonna do, we're gonna aim at that target and we're gonna shoot 5 shots as slow as we can. So not as slow as we can, as slow as accurate as we can. So just as, I should rephrase that as as fast as you can accurately, which turns out to be a pretty slow pace. So I'm just gonna demonstrate it real quick. So that target is kind of peppered up. This was one of the stages we used for the Brownells Action Hero shooting competition we did. So these targets are a little peppered, but that's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and put 5 rounds accurately standing into that. So something you're going to want to focus on, just a good, stable, proper stance, trigger pull, sight picture, all the basic fundamental stuff. All right. All right. So I'm just going to, you can use it. You can incorporate a shot timer if you want. That's perfectly fine. Track your progress. That's always a good thing. But what you're going to do, raise your optic, and then fire 5 rounds slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right? So what that looks like, and if you have a magnified optic, turn it all the way down. Something like this. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll do that again. All right, and then also go up, look at your hits, see if there's any flyers. Do what you need to do to adjust those flyers. So if you have a flyer low left or low right or whatever, trigger pull, make sure your sights are on whenever you actually feel that trigger pull, and just focus on a good trigger pull. So if you're standing and shooting and your gun's going all over the place, you have terrible recoil management, it's time to start looking at your stance and how you're actually holding the firearm, right? So very basic, easy drill. This is the best one for new shooters. Not only that, you can incorporate different stances too. I just did it standing. You can do it kneeling. So this is another one where, so let me back up. Another reason I want to do this, so we had Brownells Action Hero, depending on when you're watching this, I mean, we had it past weekend of us filming this, but there were a ton of first-time competitors out there, so it was a 2-gun competition. And you could really see stuff start to fall apart when we start putting people in weird shooting positions. Like for example, you can see those steel targets down range. That was our makeshift mortar crew, all right? So you had to run into this trench, engage a bunch of targets, and engage that mortar crew. First thing people wanted to do when they got in here was stand up in the trench and start shooting those targets. And they missed a lot just because they didn't have this fundamental down, right? Not only that, but whenever you start getting into more experienced shooting types, you know, okay, I gotta build a good shooting position. There's a lot to use here to build a good shooting position. But with that being said, those should be easy targets for someone freehand standing shot, because those are full-size IPSCs and they're not very far away. But with that being said, that's it. That's the whole video. Also, you can incorporate handgun into this as well. You don't have to just stick with rifle. Same thing applies for a handgun. Handguns there's probably more, you know, culprits of not having the fundamentals down on handgun stuff, simply because everyone like thinks they know how to shoot a handgun, right? Because like grandpa or dad showed them when they were 9 and they just keep doing those like bad habits. But just go to the range, train, have your good fundamentals in. There's a lot of other really good resources out there. I know here at Brownells, we're primarily focused on the mechanical side of things, not so much the training side of things. I am not a professional like firearm shooter. When it comes to actual shooting, I'm what I would consider more of an enthusiast. But I mean, that's coming from a gunsmith, so take that for what it's worth. Now, with that being said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to post them down below. As always, if you need help with anything for any reason ever, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.